they still think they matter. They still think their words, their opinions, their whispers hold weight. But they don't. Not anymore. They want you to turn around, to acknowledge them, to give them something. Anything. But you won't. Because they have nothing left to take, nothing left to offer. They spent every last ounce of your patience, your kindness, your forgiveness, and now they are nothing but echoes. They wonder if you miss them, if you ever think about what was, what could have been. But the truth, you don't. Not in the way they want. You don't mourn the past. You don't long for what was lost, because nothing was lost. You simply let go of the chains they wrapped around your throat and called love. They say you've become cold, that you've lost your humanity. But no, you simply stopped bleeding for people who wouldn't even hand you a bandage. You learned, you evolved, you adapted, and they stayed the same, clutching onto a version of you that no longer exists. They wonder what fuels you now, if it's anger, if it's vengeance. But it's neither. It's something much simpler, something far more terrifying. It's clarity. The clarity to see people for who they are, not who they pretend to be. The clarity to walk away without looking back. The clarity to understand that you owe them nothing. Not an explanation, not an apology, not even a final word. They thought they had time to fix things, time to manipulate, to twist, to convince you that they still mattered. But time ran out. The door has closed. The chapter has ended. And you have already moved on. They will sit in their regret. They will drown in their guilt. They will tell themselves stories to ease the weight of their own choices. But it won't change the truth. It won't bring you back, because you are not theirs to break anymore. And the most powerful thing, the cruelest, most poetic end to their little game. You don't even hate them. You feel nothing at all. They thought you were finished. They thought you had nothing left. They thought you would crawl away, broken, forgotten. But they never understood you. They never saw the fire, the hunger, the cold calculation behind your eyes. You were never weak. You were waiting for the perfect moment to rise, to strike, to take everything they swore you could never have. People love to believe in justice, in fairness, in some invisible force that makes everything right. But justice is an illusion, a fairy tale for the knave. The only thing that matters is power, control, the ability to shape the world to your will. And you have learned the hard way that nothing is given. Everything must be taken. They built their towers on your back. They climbed their way up while pushing you down. They smiled as they stripped you of everything. But now those towers shake. Now their world trembles, because you have nothing left to lose, and that makes you unstoppable. They don't see it yet. They don't realize that the same darkness they tried to drown you in has become your greatest weapon. You are not running anymore. You are not hiding. You are walking straight through the fire, unbothered, untouchable, unbreakable. And when they finally recognize what you have become, it will be too late. You are not the same person they left behind. That version of you died the day they betrayed you, abandoned you, laughed at you. What stands in their place is something else entirely. something colder, sharper, ruthless. You do not seek revenge. Revenge is emotional. Revenge is impulsive. No, you seek something greater, domination. The kind that leaves no room for doubt, no space for resistance. They wanted to play God. Now they kneel before you. You have no love for their rules, their limits, their fragile little systems designed to keep people like you in chains. Chains are for the weak. And you shattered yours long ago. They whisper now. They wonder how you survived, how you thrived, how you turned your pain into power. They will never understand, because they have never felt the kind of fire that fuels you. They have never been pushed so far that the only choice left was to evolve or die. And you refuse to die. You are not a monster. You are not a hero. You are beyond those labels, beyond their understanding. You are inevitability. And when you finally take what is yours, when you stand above the ruins of everything that tried to break you, you will not gloat. You will not celebrate. You will simply smile. Because this was always the only ending. They call it madness. I call it clarity. Because once you see the truth, you can never go back. You can never unsee the chains wrapped around your wrists, disguised as duty, tradition, morality. They convinced you that being good meant being weak, that being kind meant being used. And you believed them. Of course, you did. You were raised on their stories, their rules, their fragile little lies. But tell me, what did obedience ever bring you? A pat on the head, a slow death in a system that never cared about you. Look around. Do you see the heroes they promised? Do you see justice? No. You see greed wrapped in gold. You see cowards hiding behind laws they wrote for themselves. The strong take, the weak serve, and the world keeps spinning, pretending it makes sense. But it doesn't. It never did. It's a rigged game, and the only way to win is to stop playing by their rules. So what will you do? Will you sit there waiting, hoping, wishing? Or will you stand up and take what's yours? Because here's the truth they don't want you to know: there are no rules, no limits, no lines you cannot cross. There is only power, and those too afraid to claim it. And fear. Fear is the greatest leash of all. They keep you in line with fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of consequences. But what happens when you stop being afraid? What happens when you realize that fear is nothing but a shadow, a trick of the mind? You become free, bend arrogance, and nothing terrifies them more than a person they can no longer control. Ah, control. That's what it's always been about, hasn't it? They don't want you thinking for yourself. They don't want you questioning. They want you quiet, obedient, predictable. Because a mind that dares to question is a mind they cannot cage. A mind that refuses to kneel is a mind that will burn their world to the ground. And maybe that's exactly what needs to happen. Maybe the world they built needs to burn. Because tell me, what has this world ever done for you? Has it given you peace? Has it given you happiness? Or has it just taken until there was nothing left? They used you. They shaped you into what they needed. A cog in their machine. A pawn in their war. A nameless, faceless, forgettable thing. But you are not forgettable. You are not replaceable. You are more. But they don't want you to know that. They don't want you to wake up. Because the moment you do, their game is over. And they need this game. They need you asleep, following, obeying. Because without their control, they are nothing. So wake up. Break the chains. Let them call you wicked. Let them call you ruthless. Let them fear you. Because fear is respect in its purest form. Because the only ones who call you cruel are the ones who can no longer use you. And if they call you a villain, then wear the name like a crown. Because the difference between a villain and a hero, it's just a matter of who's telling the story.